Hello and welcome to Hold My Drink, a sobriety podcast. I'm your host, India Gantz, and today we're going to be talking about how to party sober. Because I fully believe that keeping your routine, keeping things as normal as possible through sobriety is the key to staying successful, especially in early sobriety. Now, I understand that not everyone is going to want to be in environments where drinking is present. You don't want to go to the house parties. You don't want to go to bars. I get that. I really do. For me, I still wanted to be a part of everything. I thought it made the whole process feel weird and like unusual and uncomfortable if I was not doing the things that I used to do. Like if I was invited to a birthday party and I didn't go because I knew that alcohol was going to be there, that would bum me out. I'd be like, this sobriety thing is just ruining my life. It's changing me. I don't like it, which there are a lot of changes for the better in sobriety, of course. But for me, keeping my regular life was really important. And so in today's episode, I want to give you some tangible tips for surviving in drinking environments when you are not a person who drinks. So let's get into today's episode. Welcome to Hold My Drink, a sobriety podcast. This is a no judgment zone. I really freaking like my life without alcohol. You're not alone. I hope you feel seen. Sobriety has changed my life completely. Okay, so I feel like there are a couple different categories when it comes to going out or partying or whatever you want to call it. One is going out, like out to a bar, to an event, to a concert, something like that. Or there is going to house parties. Now, I don't even like house parties to begin with, but I still find myself at a few of them for certain occasions, as we all do. So I want to give some tips for each different category. Now, for going out to bars, I gotta say, the NA beer selection has gotten truly incredible. Like, it's amazing. I have yet to go to an event or a party or a bar where the bar does not have a non-alcoholic option of some sort. And I'm not talking soda and Diet Coke, and we'll get into that later, but I'm talking like an actual fun, like mocktail or NA beer or whatever. Most all bars have NA beers. It's amazing. They're usually athletic brewing, or they'll also have Budweiser Zero, Heineken Zero. I've seen Stella Zero. At Mexican restaurants, they have Corona Zero. Like, even the tiniest little Mexican restaurant that I went to in my parents' small neighborhood, they had Corona Zero. And I thought for sure that would be the first place where they don't have an NA beer. But they had it. I mean, it's everywhere. So it's really cool to get sober in a time where it appears that a lot of people are getting sober and restaurants and bars are responding and offering options at the bars and restaurants that aren't alcoholic. It's awesome. But one big complaint that I get from sober people when I say that I love non-alcoholic beers is that they don't like the taste of beer or non-alcoholic beers. Maybe your drink of choice before you got sober was cocktails or wine or whatever. And first of all, I hear you. I understand that definitely makes things harder when you go out, especially. For me, transitioning from something like Coors Light to Budweiser Zero was so seamless. In my opinion, they taste pretty much the same. And when I go out to the bars and stuff, I get the same satisfaction from drinking a most of them are pretty low cal, but zero alcohol beer. I get the same satisfaction from drinking a zero alcohol beer as I do drinking a full alcohol beer. They taste the same. You have that drink in your hand feeling like it's the carbonation. Beer has a unique taste, obviously. It's an acquired taste, and you can only find that taste in a non-alcoholic beer. But let's say you were a wine person or a cocktail person or whatever. Other options for you are obviously mocktails. Most bars have a mocktail list these days, especially if they're a little bougier. But like the random dive bars might not have a mocktail list. But you can order pretty much any cocktail virgin without alcohol. And some of them will look at you sideways, and that's annoying. So I personally don't order mocktails if they don't have a proper mocktail list. What I'll do if I don't want the NA beer, or if for some reason somewhere that I go doesn't have an NA beer, like for example, an influencer event. I went to an influencer event and they either had mocktails, juices, which was cool, or the actual alcohol. And so what I opt for when there are no NA beers is the following. Okay, Diet Coke, love soda. You can get it with a lime or a lemon and make it kind of fun for yourself. Also, if you're worried about like concealing the fact that you're not drinking, soda's awesome because it just looks like a rum and Coke or like any cocktail that you would order at the bar. The beers kind of the NA beers do a good job of concealing the fact that you're not drinking also. Side note, of course, we are sober for ourselves and like not for anybody else. So do your best not to care what other people think, as hard as that is. I have now gotten to a point in my sobriety where I am proud that I don't drink. And if people happen to notice that I'm holding a Budweiser Zero instead of a regular Bud, I am like enthused and happy to tell them that no, this is a zero alcohol Budweiser actually. So to each their own, whether you're concealing it or you're proud of it, whatever. Just given some options. So yeah, you have your Diet Cokes and Sprites and other sodas. You can order a Shirley Temple. You can order an Arnold Palmer, which is lemonade and iced tea. A sobriety favorite is the soda water with lime. And wow, I forgot how good that tastes. And if you want it to be extra crispy, extra delicious, you can do soda water with lime juice. Trust me on that one. It's fun to have a couple of drinks in your back pocket. So if you're like, hey, do you have any non-alcoholic beers? And they're like, unfortunately, no. Then right off the bat, you're like, okay, what about a mocktail list? Oh, unfortunately, no, we don't have a mocktail list. Okay, well then I would like a root beer, a Shirley Temple, a soda water with lime, an Arnold Palmer. Like just have your couple go-to drinks ready in your back pocket to pull out. Because most people who drink, or at least me, I had my list from top to bottom. I was ready. If they didn't have this, I'd order this. If they didn't have that, I'd order this. You get the idea. So just have a few things ready in your back pocket. I personally really like to just have a drink in my hand when I go out. I think it's very comforting. It makes you feel like part of the group. You can cheers if someone's like making a toast or cheersing you. It just makes it all feel a lot more normal. And the only time I feel like I'm left out, in a sense, is when everyone does shots, or like we all order a round of shots. And what I do is I just cheers with my non-alcoholic drink that I have, and I still participate in the cheers. But that's the only time where I'm like ostracized. You know, it's like, okay, India's clearly not doing a shot. She doesn't drink. But before that, people probably wouldn't have even noticed. Anyway, so there's a few tips for when you go out to the bars. And side note, it's also really special when you are the one person who's not drinking, because you can make sure people get home safely. That sounds so like teacher's pet, but it feels really empowering to like be the one who's got the group. Like you're able to save a lot of people money on Ubers by taking a van full of people home. It's a good feeling to feel like you're trusted and you can take care of some people and like use your sobriety to the group's advantage, if that makes sense. So that's going out. Now for house parties, like I said, I hate house parties. I did not go to college, and so I don't think I had that like house party experience with all the games and standing around with red Solo cups and like there's never any activities. You just stand around and drink. It's so bizarre. It's all new to me. But occasionally I find myself at a frickin' house party, and here's how I handle it. First of all, just a little announcement. You don't have to go to anything that you don't want to, obviously. Like I said in the beginning of this episode, I tried to keep my life as normal as possible, but I never liked house parties, even when I was drinking heavily. I hated house parties. They're awkward. They're, like I said, the only activity is to drink. There's usually no snacks provided. What are you doing there other than just standing around and drinking? No shade, though. If you like a house party, good for you. To each their own. Like I said, I didn't have that college experience, and I am not familiar with house parties to that level. So what I'm saying is that you don't have to go to anything you don't want to. I didn't like house parties when I was drinking, and I especially don't like them now because I've taken a step back and realized that a lot of house parties are surrounded by drinking. Drinking is the main event. It's not like you're doing a wine and paint and there's the painting activity, or you're going out to a bar and seeing live music while you drink. House parties, the entire event is the drinking. And so for me, that doesn't super align with my sobriety. It's what else does this event or party have to offer other than getting drunk? Most of the time, it's nothing. So you don't have to go to events that you don't want to, obviously. I've definitely decided that not all house parties are for me. If it's a special occasion or there's someone specific there that I really want to celebrate and be a part of their celebration, I'll go. But they're not my favorite thing, and so I don't go to all of them. And that is totally fine. You got to kind of lay down your boundaries. I wanted to keep my life as similar to how it was before, but also kind of recognize what suited me and what didn't. And house parties don't really suit me. But if I found myself at a house party, here's what I would do, folks. Okay, first of all, I always bring so many drinks for myself, whether that's a 12-pack of sodas, diet sodas. I love a diet root beer, diet Dr. Pepper, or a case of non-alcoholic beers. Always bring extra, I've learned, because a lot of times there will be someone who's the DD, or you discover that they also just don't drink, and they're going to want some of what you got. So bring extras. And it's so interesting at these house parties, usually non-alcoholic drinks are not provided. You walk into these spaces and there's no water, no soda, no juice, usually no food, maybe some Funyuns, but that's about it. And it's just red Solo cups and the alcohol. So bring yourself some drinks. Even if they're no, you don't have to bring anything, just yourself. Bring your own drinks and thank me later. So at those house parties, it is really cool because you kind of have your own stash. I mean, like I said, I do end up sharing usually because you discover that either maybe somebody's drank too much and they want to switch to diet sodas, or they're not drinking, or they're the DD, or whatever the situation is. They want some of your stuff. But for the most part, you have your own little stash. And you just keep going back to your stash when you want a new one. I usually keep it in a separate area so people don't get confused and start drinking my Budweiser Zero thinking that it's full alcohol Budweiser. So I keep it in a special little area and I just access it all throughout the night. Again, usually people don't notice. Sometimes they'll say oh, what's that? I've never seen that. And I tell them what it is and they're oh, wow, that's cool. The conversation begins. But knowing that you have your own drinks, something that you like, available to you throughout that party. And again, you can just have that drink in your hand throughout the night. It's so comforting, at least for me. I mean, the most awkward thing and kind of treacherous thing to experience during a house party is not having something to drink. That sounds pathetic, but it's true. If everyone's drinking and doing shots and pouring their beverage in their Solo cup and it's woo, rager, and you're standing there with nothing, just almost watching it go down, it is so much more comfortable to have as many drinks as you want for yourself that you're okay to drink throughout the whole night. So highly recommend bringing your own always to house parties. A mindset that really, really helps me in my sobriety and going out to events where there's a lot of alcohol, parties, cruises, bachelorette parties. I'm going to Mardi Gras soon. Something that really helps me is to feel empowered. And that sounds so cheesy, but take pride in the fact that you look around and without judging, obviously, I'm not saying to judge other people, but this is just to help with feeling okay in your own skin and feeling okay in your sobriety. You look around and you just say, I'm fully coherent. I'm at 100% right now. and a lot of people are not at their 100%. I'm able to have intelligent, good conversations and make good connections with people. I'm going to wake up feeling okay in the morning. I'm not hurting my liver or my brain. And again, it's not to judge the others. It is simply to make yourself feel good in that moment where you can oftentimes feel really ostracized and bad about yourself and like regretting your decisions to get sober. So stay strong and feel empowered through your sobriety and know that you're making a really good decision for yourself. And when you look around, it makes you feel really good actually and like uplifted. I have gone to so many difficult things sober, or what society would think are difficult things to attend sober. My high school reunion, a bachelorette party, a wedding, like you name it, I've done it. I'm about to go to Mardi Gras. Obviously, that's going to be surrounded by booze. I've gone to the house parties, all that good stuff. And like I said, going out was never like a trigger for me. It's more the relaxing at home by myself where I feel the urge to drink. So for me, going out and like partying in a sense, quote unquote, is not as much of a struggle. If that is a struggle for you, obviously recognize your own struggles and address them accordingly. But for me, going to those, still attending those, and feeling empowered that I am sober and not drinking is the best way forward. And let me just say, you can enjoy everything to the fullest while sober. Like, oh my God, when I was drinking and people used to say that, I'd be like, yeah, right. You're just saying that because you're sober. Like life is so good sober, and you remember everything from the night and you feel confident. You feel sure of yourself. You know that you're not slurring your words. You get to actually look around and see every detail and take it all in. And like without sounding too sappy, like the world just appears so beautiful. And you're experiencing every situation and every human interaction at the fullest. Like it's actually incredible. And I feel like that is how life is supposed to be lived. It feels amazing. You get to experience everything 100%. And I wouldn't change it for the world. Like especially those parties and outings and events and fun activities I want to experience sober. It's fantastic. It's truly the best feeling in the world. So enjoy it. Please send this episode to a friend or a family member or colleague or whoever you think might be interested. I hope that these episodes are giving you some comfort and some sense of community during your sobriety journey. Thank you so much for listening. I'm so grateful that you're here. Please come again. And I'll see you guys for the next episode. Bye.